Hello, I'm Taal. Our imagination and expressive capacities offer very useful possibilities to foster coping and resilience for cancer patients. Based on 40 years of clinical practice, we developed the Imagery Toolbox. It's a box filled with a broad range of accessible imagery exercises and various creative, expressive material. The purpose of the toolbox is to provide for in the mainstream of healthcare easy to do, accessible tools for coping with the illness during treatment and during recovery after. Here you see a painting by a cancer patient she made after the treatments, and it shows two things at the same time. The catastrophe, the tree being struck, being split, the tree of life, and also the new green which is emerging, giving hope. And because she's able to paint it, this is happening inside her, and because and while she painted, this feeling of a new life becomes stronger. And that's exactly what creativity does, what imagery can do. It provides for the person means, non-verbal means, to express their emotions, their irrationality, all that's happening inside. Sometimes people are not able to communicate, but they can put it on paper or in clay. At the same time, it gives also access to the sources of creativity, the potentials that are all inside us. It's doing justice what lives inside, and it enables to discover and renew ourselves. In this example, Irma stretches out her arms for support. She wants support, but at the same time, she keeps the world at bay. She says, my hands reach for help and yet push others away. And because she's able to make this sculpture, a very simple sculpture, but it's so strong in its expression, it gives her strength and identity. In each of us, there are inner resources of creativity and potentials for latent abilities to become available and grow. Metaphorically, we can say these inner resources are like the roots and trunk of a tree from which branches continue to grow when given the chance. With the Imagery Toolbox, we provide these chances, the means for people to use their expression and imagination to help themselves. Here's an interesting example of the use of the tools of the Imagery Toolbox by David. David, after colon cancer treatment, is experiencing great stress, physically and mentally. He feels stuck, depressed and guilty. Guilty towards his family and also guilty towards his career, his working career, who is very important for him. He's a very ambitious man, but he cannot go back to work. He's too tired and too depressed. And when we explore this feeling, he talks about this heavy pressure in his chest. And he gets the image of a cock which is pressuring him inside his chest, and that cock is standing still. When we discuss about this, what is this cock? What is he doing? He's standing still. He slowly realizes, oh, maybe it has something to do with my life at the moment, also with my career. The mechanics of my ambitions are standing still. And he realizes maybe something else is needed. And in fact, that's what we are going to do. We're going to help him relax with some of the tools of the toolbox. In this moment in his life, David has to take care of himself. For a moment, leave his ambitious career aside and learn to relax first in order to be able to recover. We provide him with the imagery exercise of the good, safe place. That's one of the audio exercises, and we do that in a session. It starts with relaxation, and then there was a suggestion. Imagine you are in a comfortable, safe, good place. And then David starts to smile after a while. He finds himself in a boat on a slow flowing river, and he feels very comfortable. And here you find the picture he made after. He also says that he's very surprised because in fact, in reality, he's never been in this kind of boat, but in his imagination, this came quite straight away. It seems like he's really ready for it to relax. Also, he's a person who's never done this kind of thing, meditation or visualizations or mindfulness or something like it. He's very surprised. He's very able to do this exercise, and it helps him very much. He's getting so enthusiastic about it that at home he's doing the exercise. He takes the CD and the MP3. He listens to it, and this is one of his favorite images. He's laying on his cloud and he feels very, very fine. Here he is on an island, comfortable, by himself, enjoying the time. One of his other images is playing with balls, like in these big shops where they have these places for children to play with balls. And in fact, he's going to do that with his small children. He really enjoys it, and he has a lot of joy playing with his kids. He really discovers how nice it is to take time home with his family. These exercises really help him. He feels much more vital, more energy, more joy. He starts to love life again. And this image becomes his favorite, which he lets go through his chest once in a while. And he does all these exercises on himself. And after 2 months, he's ready to go to work again. He goes very slowly, but he takes care to go at the right time home, so he can spend time with his family. When I speak to him after 8 months, he's so much recovered. He's working full time again, but he says, at 5 o'clock, I go home. And you know something, he tells me, I even taught some of my colleagues this wonderful exercise. Among the various tools in the toolbox, there are also photographs, a whole series. We call them symbol cards. And they're used to help the patient to enter into his imagination. Here Carla chooses this photograph for her own situation. And what do you see there? Where is your focus going? And she says, well, there's this duck. And what's going on with this duck? This duck is all alone. In the exercise, the patient is asked to concentrate on the photograph and maybe even close your eyes for a few seconds and then wait what you see. How does the image develop? And this is what Carla made. There you find the duck. The duck is all alone. And she starts to talk about her situation, how she feels alienated from her family, from her neighbors. And then she chooses this photograph to help her, what she needs. And here follows the drawing she made. This is how the rose became. It's not anymore frozen. No, I have made the drawing warmer. And personally, I very much like also the movement of this rose. It's like getting up. And in fact, that's what's happening with Carla. After this drawing, and after she took it home and she repeated to look at it, she started again to have more contact with her family, with her neighbors, and so on. Maria, after breast cancer, was very afraid to fall ill again. A lot of fear. From the symbol cards, she chooses what she feels she needs. It's a card with a flower. When she focuses on the card with the flower and then closes her eyes after a while, the image develops into a tree. I just saw a tree, and there's a whole story for her with this tree. It is my tree, and it can grow. I'm laying under the tree, and I want to climb up. It's the little round things that are climbing up. I want to emerge like a flower. If I come to the surface, then I can blossom. For me, that blossoming means being able to live again. If I stay under the ground out of fear, I might feel safe, but then absolutely nothing can happen. Standing still is not living. Being scared is not living. Taking risk. It's all right for me to grow, she says. I have hung this drawing in the house for a while, so that I could see it every day. It gave me strength. Then I think, this is what I'm going for. I'm not going to stay stuck in my fear. It really helps a lot. What this imagery and drawing has done to me is that it calmed my mind. That was very good because I was really very scared of falling ill again. Also, I've been showing it to my family. Have a look at what I'm doing, what I'm going through. Very useful. Here's the Imagery Toolbox. It's the third edition. We started in 2009 and 2017. This third edition came out. Here's the open box. It contains extensive course book with background chapters in it. There's a 3-week course, many examples, almost 100 examples with illustrations from exercises and drawings and other things made by patients. There's also a chapter on family and children. Imagery exercises on audio, on a CD, and now available for free on our site in MP3. There are the symbol cards, sets of symbol cards, 54 photographs, also available now on internet, and there are watercolor pencils, sketchbooks, modeling clay, also DVD about singing and choirs of cancer patients, and more. There are 8 imagery exercises in the box. For instance, the imagery of the good place, the good safe place, where we've been talking about already, but also imagery as a support when receiving treatment, loving care for the damaged body, very important, pain relief, and others. The last decades there have been many studies on art therapy and imagery for the help of cancer patients. A large systematic review found in certain studies recently significant effects on quality of life, psychological state, spiritual well-being, and mindfulness. So where does this imagining creative capacity comes from? What's the origin? Is it learned or is it inborn? Have we all got it? As far as we know from prehistory, humans have always used symbolism and imagery and art. Symbolic art and therapeutic rituals exist at least 100,000 years already, and probably much longer. Some of the first evidence of it has been found in the Blombos cave in South Africa. Engravements, drawings, body decorations dated 100,000 years ago. And there's even evidence of pre-Homo sapiens art, which dates back to 300,000 years or even more. Here are some of the pictures from the famous Lascaux caves in France, about 15,000 to 20,000 years old. About 1,000 animals are painted there and engraved, and about 3,000 signals, from which we don't know what they mean, of course. But what we know, that they are not hunting scenes, because most of the animals, almost all the animals that are painted were not eaten. In this fine example from Lascaux, there's the only human depicted, and he's very strangely depicted. He has a bird head, fingers also, and there's also the only bird in the whole cave, which looks like it's kind of a mythical meeting with a birdman and a bison. Another example, about 25,000 years old, with these hands. This kind of hands you find in caves all over the world. And from the cave Chauvet, this beautiful painting of lions, almost 40,000 years old. Just to show you how old, how innate creativity and imagery for humans has been. And the last example, 40,000 years old, the lion man. It's a man, a human, and at the same time it's a lion. Just to show you how old imagery, symbolism and artistic expression has been. And in the modern days, cancer patients can be helped by imagery and by creative expression, and they can help themselves. The placebo effect, maybe the greatest mystery in modern healthcare. There seems to be somehow, sometimes, an inner doctor, a self-healing capacity. Even if one tells the person it's a placebo. it works. The placebo effect, maybe the greatest mystery in modern healthcare. There seems to be an inner doctor, a kind of self-healing capacity, working on suggestion, on imagination. The belief, the trust that this pill works, it's based on subjective perception, on the imagining. In fact, placebo effect is an imagery effect. In the last 2 decades, there's been a lot of studies in neuroscience that support the power of imagery in our creativity. Mirror neurons are brain cells that light up when we see something or when we imagine something. And here is an artistic impression of a mirror neuron. What you see, what you perceive, or what you imagine, or paint, or sing, or model, or write, or draw, forms billions of new connections in our brain. We can measure it now. And that stimulates new skills and behavior. And as a last example, I'm going to show you the imagery of a young student who, after the treatment of his colon cancer, chose this photograph from the set of symbol cards, the bus, which depicts for him how he felt. And here's the drawing he made. The bus has fallen from the mountain and is scattered. Paint is gone, the wheels are broken. But in his imagination he goes inside the bus and he finds, well, maybe we can repair it. And there's even on the left down corner, there's a car with repairments coming. He's imagining the repairments, and after a few weeks he sees, yes, the bus can go again. And first he thought he had to go over the mountain, but then he found that there is a tunnel. And here you find him in front of this tunnel. It's about 500 meters long. That's how he feels about it. And here is inside the tunnel. There's some obstacles in the tunnel. You can see the bus below with the yellow figure. That's him at the steering wheel. And 2 months later, he feels the bus is through the tunnel. He's taking up his life slowly again, his study again, and he's starting a stage. After 4 months, we meet for an evaluation, and he tells me his life is going well, his study is going well, everybody is surprised, but things are going fine. Here he depicts the bus. It's on the road to the village. But it's only one thing surprises him. In his imagination, he sees that the meter of the level of petrol doesn't work. And when he thinks about it, he realizes this means I regularly have to check my energy level, not going too fast, and take my rest. And with this fine last example of the bus, I come to an end of this presentation. Not to withhold this online imagery tool we made, which is free available at the website Strengthen Yourself in Times of Uncertainty or Fear, which can be very helpful for many patients. If you're interested in the Imagery Toolbox, please visit our website, imagerytoolbox.com. On it, there are the audio exercises for free in MP3 format. The symbol cards are there, the course book, and much more information and articles on it. Thank you for your attention.